je signe. Les ennemis de l'Afrique, ce sont les Africains.
You updated. This is Radio Imanzi, news in English.
This is Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame says strategic airlift is a critical component for the maintenance of peace and security on the continent. He was speaking at the opening ceremony of African Air Chiefs Symposium. Transparency International has released the 2021 Corruption Perceptions Index. Kigali is one of Africa's leading cities for startups in business. Construction of a mechatronics facility worth of 8.5 billion Rwandan francs has started at IPRC Tumba. Now the news in detail. President Paul Kagame says strategic airlift is a critical component for the maintenance of peace and security on the continent. He was speaking at the opening ceremony of African Air Chiefs Symposium. Rwanda is hosting the African Air Chiefs Symposium in partnership with the U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Air Forces in Africa. This symposium aims at creating a forum for air chiefs from across the African continent to come together to address regional and continental issues. President Paul Kagame opening the symposium.
Excellency, Peter Vrooman, United States Ambassador to Rwanda, General Jeffrey Harrigan, Commander, U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Air Forces in Africa, Air Chiefs and senior officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to join you today to open the 11th Africa Air Chiefs Symposium. First, allow me to warmly welcome you to Rwanda. I also wish to commend the United States Air Forces in Europe, Air Forces in Africa, for the continued support to African Air Forces. Strategic airlift is a critical component for the maintenance of peace and security on the continent, particularly for peacekeeping operations. Nevertheless, our airlift capabilities are limited, and this affects the ability of African Air Forces to respond rapidly to security threats. Many of Africa's emerging security challenges are transnational in scope, and so no one country has the resources to respond to them alone. We must therefore prioritize partnerships. The benefits of working together are clear. First, partnerships can enable African Air Forces to have access to quality aircraft for the transportation of personnel and equipment. Second, partnerships can create opportunities for specialized training for pilots and maintenance, crews, and lastly, partnerships can help modernize air transport infrastructure such as air traffic control facilities and air-to-ground communications. As Africa's air forces work towards enhancing military effectiveness, the continent's evolving security landscape must be taken into account. Threats are increasingly being posed by highly mobile forces, and as such, airborne intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance are critical. Funding will continue to be a challenge, but we cannot afford to let that override our collective commitment to stability on the continent. Let's continue working together to see tangible results. To conclude, I want to emphasize that the discussions in the following days should be held within the wider context of Africa's socio-economic development trajectory. Security and prosperity are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. I trust that the symposium will facilitate this, and that even more countries will join the Association of African Air Forces. Once again, thank you for gathering here in our capital. You're most welcome, and I hope you will enjoy your stay here as you go about the business that have made us gather here today. I thank you for your kind attention.
President Paul Kagame speaking at the opening ceremony of the symposium. Transparency International has released the 2021 Corruption Perceptions Index. The index shows that corruption levels remain at a standstill worldwide, with 86% of countries making little to no progress in the last 10 years. The CPI ranks 180 countries and territories by their perceived levels of public sector corruption on a scale of 0 to 100. The CPI global average remains unchanged at 43 for the 10th year in a row, and two-thirds of countries score below 50. The Sub-Saharan Africa average is 33 and the lowest in the whole world. Rwanda is included in the least corrupt countries, scoring 53% and placing 52nd out of 180 countries.
So today we are here to discuss
Kigali is one of Africa's leading cities for startups in business, according to a survey by Startup Link, which was published today. Rwanda was ranked number 6 in Africa after Cairo, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Nairobi, and Lagos. Many African ecosystems have shown strong growth patterns since 2019, despite the ongoing pandemic. Construction of a mechatronics facility worth 8.5 billion Rwandan francs has started at IPRC Tumba. Claudette Irede, the Minister of State in charge of ICT and TVET, on Monday, January 24th, laid a foundation stone to kickstart the construction of a new Department of Mechatronics at IPRC Tumba, located in Rulindo district. The facility will be built with support from the French government at a cost of approximately 8.5 billion Rwandan francs. The National Organization of Professional Trauma Counselors and its partners held a meeting today to follow up on the research they have conducted on mental health awareness. The Executive Secretary of the National Organization of Professional Counselors, Abatoni Gatete Jane, says that many people in Rwanda are not aware and do not recognize mental health-related issues.
So today we are here to discuss about the findings of our exploratory study that we did on mental health services at institution and community level. So we brought together different partners in mental health services so that we can discuss and share ideas and, of course, discuss about the findings and get recommendations from them or even feedback from them, but also work on way forward from here. So we have discussed on several things. After the presentation of the findings, we have got recommendations that we are going to implement. Of course, the major issue concerned the awareness of mental health at community and even institutional level, or even at national level, because it needs to be part of the priorities. People may not see it as we see, it may be other sickness, but mental health is real and it is affecting many people in our country. So we need to look at it as one of the priorities in the health sector that needs attention, of course, and of course more budget, especially because we have found out that the budget for mental health is really limited to very small portion compared to other sectors. Yeah, so that's what we are discussing.
Okay. Abatoni Gatete Jane talking to Radio Imanzi. Now some items of international news. 8 people were killed and dozens others injured in a crash outside a Cameroonian football stadium. Cameroonian President Paul Biya ordered an investigation into the tragedy that occurred Monday as crowds attempted to enter Olembe Stadium in the capital Yaoundé to watch the host nation play Comoros. Kenya has lifted the ban on flights from Dubai. Travelers from Dubai will be allowed into the country from today after Kenya lifted a ban it had imposed on all inbound and transit passenger flights from the Middle East nation 2 weeks ago. On January 10th, Kenya had suspended all inbound and transit passenger flights from the United Arab Emirates in retaliation against a move by Dubai to ban all passenger flights from Kenya over fake COVID-19 tests. The review of Rwanda Stock Exchange on 25th January 2022. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 211,816,880 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 7 deals on the fixed income market and 2,450,000 Rwandan francs from 10,000 shares traded in 2 deals on the equities market. As the share counters closed, Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 245 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 2,450,000 Rwandan francs from 10,000 shares traded in 2 deals. Simerwa closed the counter at 120 Rwandan francs. M10 Rwanda at 180 Rwandan francs, Bralirwa at 125 Rwandan francs, I&M Bank at 45 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchuri Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, RH Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The review of currency market today, 25th January 2022. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.8 Rwandan francs and selling price was 8.9 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.28 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.289 Rwandan francs. Burundian franc buying price was 0.5 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.51 Rwandan francs. The US dollar buying price was 1,001 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,021 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,349 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,376 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,133 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,155 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.